thankful that to have an opportunity to come here. Just first of all, to go over about a 40-minute presentation as it relates to LGQ and its obligation to protect our environment. And then we're going to go on a tour to actually let you see the impact that Ronaldson Field has had over the last 20-some years on the Alton and St. Irma Lee community. I think a picture speaks 1,000 words, and so we just want to make that connection. First of all, to lay the foundation that it is government, whether it's local, whether it's state or federal, to protect our environment, protect our people, and also to see where that lack of security and following through and accountability and how it has affected this community. So we actually have 30 slides that we're going to cut to 15 because we know that the media is on a tight schedule as well. So Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. The LD overview, historic and current issues forwarded to LDQ regarding Ronaldson Field. The LDQ mission statement. The department's mission is to provide service to the people of Louisiana through comprehensive environmental protection in order to promote and protect health, safety, and welfare while considering sound policies regarding employment and economic development. Their vision statement: to be a respected steward of the state's environment. The organizational structure, there are 5 major offices. Today we're going to focus in on the Office of Environmental Compliance. The Office of Environmental Quality Philosophy, the compliance will endeavor to operate in a fair and consistent manner to achieve compliance with environmental regulations and to ensure protection of our valuable environmental resources and human health. The Office of Environmental Compliance will adopt the following principles to accomplish a successful environmental compliance program. First of all, it's supposed to maintain good working relationships with the public and the regulated community through better education regarding environmental problems. It should operate within the constraints of the law in a fair, objective, and consistent manner that maintains high professional and ethical standards. And lastly, they should incorporate non-confrontational methods and approaches to problem solving. These are the issues facing Alton and St. Irma Lee. Air monitoring issues, odor issues, waste inspection issues, fire safety issues, rodent, snake, and termite pest control issues, water drainage issues, clay cover issues, dust control issues, recycling issues, and community buffers. We just dealt with the things that LDQ has the obligation and capacity to monitor. We didn't deal with the deaths, we didn't deal with the illnesses, we didn't deal with the home value, the lack of economic development, or the quality of life issues. So in 1993, we start off with, there was a civil rights violation settlement agreement, and in the settlement documentation, LGQ cites specific things that it will has implemented since 1993. We're not going through all the details, but none of the things that were listed in that document have been offered to the Alton St. Irma Lee community. In 1996 is when the permit was the Ronaldson Field, which it had another name. What is it, Tracy? Natural Resource, the original name.
Yeah, NRRI.
NRRI in 1996, the original permit cites that there would be little truck impact on the neighborhood. Complaints indicate otherwise. The issue is the dust control. Traffic problems, including trucks that do not stop at the stop sign. Trucks enter through the community when they are not supposed to. 2 traffic deaths are cited on Rafe-Meyer Road as related to dirt and dust on the road. Also in 1996, as it relates to foliage, residents should not have to see the landfill out of the window of their personal residence. During the 1996 permit hearing, NRRI promised the entire facility would have a visible barrier. Here we are 21 years later, and that is not the case. 1996, as it relates to road maintenance, The original 1996 permit document cites that there would be little truck impact, of course, to the neighborhood. Again, complaints indicate otherwise. 1996 financial transparency. These are some of the details according to the first application. The community would like to see an itemized account of where the money that Brian, and we're talking about Sid Brian, who is the owner, claims goes to the community. Promises to put the community members on a board to have say in these matters have never been followed through on yet these empty promises from Sid Brian, which are documented in personal letters he wrote to LDQ in 1996 to sway them to approve the original permit, are ignored. At a later hearing, when a resident asked about why this had not happened, Sid Brian claims he does not know what the residents are talking about. A copy of this letter exists in LGQ file. Remember, this is in 1996. At this time, what the residents were told is that this would be an under-surface landfill, not the 20-some thousand feet that it is now. So right then, they're saying it's in any normal thing where a business comes to the community, they want to have a good relationship and a partnership. They're saying, we are going to come in to enhance you. And so these are some of the things. At this late date, not knowing in 1996 what would happen today, none of these would suffice as something that the community would have ever said yes to. Keep on. Refocus community industry relations. The details, effort would be made to identify targeted communities for outreach and assistance. LDQ cites that, and I quote, community industry relationship groups extended a continuing offer to assist any interested party or group with environmental justice concern. What is that group? We don't know about it, and it doesn't appear to exist. What evidence is there that they reached out to the community? This is not once mentioned in any other document. They also claimed that this committee toured the area but did not talk with any affected residents. Is there a record of this tour? 1997, water monitoring. By now, the landfill is in existence. The two wells located to the landfill should be tested to determine if there are proper protection with toxins as claimed in a permit. That had never happened. It is mentioned that a public water well is located 280 feet from the landfill, so it's in proximity for you to get the testing. A public listing of all wells located within 1 mile of the landfill was put together by engineer associates. It includes the location of 3 portable water supplies. So there's absolutely no reason why the testing has not occurred. But you'll see further, I think it's in this firm, where there's a certain limit where you can't even test it because it's so deep now. The landfill is so high. In 2000, air monitoring testing, 17 years of complaints. The first one was recorded on January 21st, 2000. So we've had, this was from 2017. At that time, there were 17 years of complaints. Decomposing wall that emits toxic hydrogen sulfide resulting in a sulfur-like odor. This still exists on cars in St. Emily even to this day. The sulfur-like odor has been corroborated by LDQ inspections numerous times over the past 20 years. Yet there have only been 2 or 3 air quality tests done to determine the possible cause. 2002, air monitoring details. LDQ has suggested that air monitoring be put in place several times. There's no itemized documentation of these donations. I think that's from another era. We just got this together about 2 hours ago. An LDQ report recommends that grab samples continue along the monitoring of odors. This does not happen. That was in 2005. The LDQ inspector recommends that the site be visited more frequently, and that the neighborhood be scouted for bad odors through an increased inspection. Again, in 2005. It appears that the inspection and the staff does right, but the persons who make the decisions won't. They won't do. Again, financial transparency in 2006. Natural Resources claim, which is the same as Ronaldsonville, claims that they have made over 725 donations and contributions totaling $100,000 in the form of goods and financial support to the community. They also claim they are assisting elderly members of the community through an outreach program, although there's no evidence provided for these claims. The community would like an itemized accounting of $725 donation. Again, this was in 2005. No response from LDQ. 2008, community site visits. Annual community site visit in the 2008 permit hearing. 10 years ago. So we're up for the 10-year renewal. This is what happened in 2008. Natural Resources stated that the Ronaldson Field landfill has an open gate policy and that anyone could take a look around today. We're going to see if that's true today. Residents from St. Emily and Allison would like to coordinate annual site visit. I know when I go, it's locked and there's a chain and it says do not disturb private property. But we're going doing their working hours today, so we're going to see if that's the truth. All right, road maintenance 2008. Remember, 10 years ago, claims that Natural Resources has committed a portion of their budget to improving roads. And when you go down Allison, you won't see their sidewalk. You will still see the same roads 20 years ago. There's absolutely no improvement. A matter of fact, it's worse. Because now, because of the heavy trucks, it has limited the width of the road, and there's nothing but runoff. So the road isn't even as high as it was before. No record exists as to how much money has been spent on road upkeep and what that upkeep includes. That's 2008. Again, in 2008, this is the hearing location. In 2008, hearing was held at LDQ headquarters, even though LDQ knows that transportation is an issue. 10 years later, where do you think that the hearing was? Again, at LDQ headquarters. So, nothing new. In spite of the fact that they know that it's difficult for many of the residents that will request that it be held in this business, and no one responded. The Civil Rights Settlement spoke of a hearing location as a tactic of discrimination. We know that. We did a test. So on the 28th, last Tuesday, we had the hearing, and it was the right people were there. But we had a meeting yesterday just to test, just for a litmus test. And twice as many people showed up at Mount Bethel Baptist Church that showed up for the hearing, even though we consider the hearing was a success. The next hearing must be held within 3 miles of the community. So this is part of what was mandated. And 10 years later, they did the same thing, ignored even what's part of a civil rights settlement. Next, 2010, financial transparency. This is again from Sid Bryan. The Catholic Charities Executive Director writes a letter on behalf of Natural Resources, stating that Natural Resources help transport a citizen to dialysis, pay utility bills, pay local residents' expenses, added value to the community by funding substantial repairs to homeowners' property. Yet there is no accounting of these funds, who they went to, and how the residents can qualify. When you make a donation to a community, it's not an individual. It helps everybody, and it's well known and it's publicized, and you want everybody to know that you're doing it. You want everybody to know how to get access. I can't just, as a councilwoman, do this for any individual unless I offer it to the 30,000 constituents that I represent. I can't just pick and choose. In the letter, the Catholic Charities Executive Director described these services as part of the Allison Fund. What is the Allison Fund? There's no evidence that this fund exists or what it does. 2010. From 2010 to 2015, very few reports. I'm trying to figure out who the governor was. Y'all know who the governor was from 2010 to 2015? Yeah. Yeah. So even if they called, it's a very good chance it just wasn't recorded. But suddenly there are 5 years of missing information. 2016. So this is the air monitoring, of course, coming up to the flood. Authorized deviation from the definition of C&D was initiated as a result of the 26th storm. Air monitoring should have also been part of the deviation plan and implemented to determine the effects of the additional waste on the surrounding community. So they authorized a deviation plan, meaning LDQ, but they didn't authorize anything to protect the community, knowing that there was going to be an increased influx of not only the kind of landfill material going in, but also the quantity. Waste inspection. The method of manually inspecting waste coming into the facility is totally deficit. Here we are in a time where everybody knows how, I mean, there's all kind of equipment and ability, but they're still dealing with manual inspection. And the record keeping is not very well taken. All right, 2016. So these are some of the waste inspection. Most times they say there was no discharge. The lack of discharge reports during the intake of the storm debris, which allowed 10 times the amount of debris to be dumped at the landfill. So in this small community of Alton, this small community of St. Ermelie, not only have they been dumped on, they were dumped on 10 times from all parishes. Less discharge than any other in the year. So you have 10 times the amount of debris. How you gonna have less discharge in the same year? Weather indicates that there was not a drought. So it wasn't no rain going on. I mean, it wasn't like an absence of rain, but you got 10 times the debris, but no discharge. Crazy. Are we crazy? So these are the concerns and complaints. I'm just gonna read one line from each issue. Fire safety. Five fires have been cited at the facility since it opened. Often correct protocol is not employed during these days. These are just reported. We actually met with the police department and they said we get 5 every year. So we are going to be getting those reports through Firehouse, which is a database with the fire department. Water drainage. The failed water drainage system next to the homes in St. Ermelie need to be addressed. We had the storm in August of 2016. However, Roddy, you might remember this, we actually had people who flooded in Alton in January 2017. Had never flooded before. That's how bad it is. Clay cover. More clay cover needs to be mandated. What the clay covering is on, LDQ only requires clay covering out of a 30-day period, one time on day 30. So day 1 through 29, you could have debris and just flying all over, open to the elements. Then on day 30, we cover it with clay. And day 1, it's uncovered again and we start all over again. Does not make sense. Rodents, snakes, termites. Rodents, residents cite a dramatic increase of rodents, snakes, termites in the landfill. I have pictures where people send me snakes around their burglar bars. They talk about the roaches and everything being twice the size of a fly being like the size of a bumblebee. The increase of snakes is unbelievable. It is crazy. Next. Water needs to be monitored. Discharge shows toxicity reports at least 50% of the time. Odor complaint protocols. There's a total lack of consistency on how odor complaints are inspected. Recently, I think the LDQ had it come to the church for 2 or 3 days. On that day, it didn't even rain, the wind didn't blow. And from what I understand, there's only one detector for the whole state. And that one detector for LDQ goes all around the entire state. One detector. Waste inspection. The method of manually again inspecting waste is deficit. Compliant records of other type 3 landfills show that there is constant and consistent failure. And even these sites, this is one that's in Oakville, to ensure no toxic waste is dumped on the site. Next. Notice of the public hearing, again, on August 28th, which was last Tuesday. We had the public hearing. I think it made the paper like July 21st. I would not have even known about it if it wasn't for a constituency emailing me. So in spite of all these issues, LDQ, whether you're regulated or not, if you want to have a good relationship, if you want communication, they should have sent all the residents of Alton notice. And they should have had it in their back door. Especially, I've been sending letters to Dr. Chuck Brown since February of 2017. So he know I'm on it. He know I'm concerned. Why wouldn't you send a letter at least to the councilwoman, let your people know? The public hearing process is in response to the 10-year renewal application. However, Ronaldson Field has gotten so in bed, for a lack of term, with LGQ that they have the audacity, you got a misspelled word by the way, of asking for a 20-year permit. So we're talking about a 10-year renewal. The life expectancy for Ronaldson Field left is 15 and a half, but they so big and they so bold and they so sure, they asked for 20 years. So there's a comment period now. October 1st, 2018, so we have 30 days. My goal is to get 1,000 comment cards, emails, faxes in. This is the address, the email location, fax, the Dropbox. There's particular information, I don't know if it's on set, that must be on each document that's submitted. So this is the period. So you mail, email, fax, Dropbox, and permit. All this information has to be the permit number, the activity number, the site ID, and the whatever number it is. I don't know what that is though. But all that information, and that is what we are working on, a 30-day campaign to make sure that anyone that lives in the USA, in the state of Louisiana, in the city, the parish, all become, this is not an Alson problem. This is not a St. Irma, this is a human problem. And so we need anybody that can write, read, email, attack to help this community. They have been fighting from one environmental issue to another for 60 years. And many of them are dead and many of them are tired. And so they need help, and we intend for this to end. What's that? Thank y'all for being here. Y'all ready to load the bus? Let's do it.
subdivision, and like I said, back up in there was where the cemetery was at. And on the right is Rosa Sharon Baptist Church. Rosa Sharon Baptist Church was located on Springfield Road. This is St. John Baptist Church. Look at the sign and how brown. That sign used to be white. Where were the people killed? We're entering in St. Armalee. Over there. That's the landfill over here to our right.
But it's just so much stuff, like I say, from 2006 to now. It's just things I've recorded over a period of time.
Councilwoman Chana Banks invited us all to come out and take a bus tour around the St. Irma Lee and Allison communities up here around the Baker area. We met at Greenwood Park, which we are today, which is gorgeous, by the way. Got in a CATS bus and drove around the outskirts of those two communities, looking at, for starters, the industrial investment that's around here, the rail infrastructure, the infrastructure that goes to and from the Mississippi River up here, and what she wanted us to look at primarily was Ronaldson Field. In particular, what she has said is violations of promises that Ronaldson Field has made to the community, as in the height of the debris that's put up there, the buffer zone that's out there. So we're going to be looking at some of the information that Ltrbx has on file about Ronaldson Field. We rode everywhere that there was public transportation, everywhere that the roads were open to the public, on public property, public right of way. We rode. We ran into Mr. Ferguson, who lives at the end of a street that's where his front door view is of the field, which is very tall from where he's at, and there's a definite odor that's around there that I'm familiar with from where I grew up. But anyone that's interested in the health of the environment and the health of this community, I mean, the jet stream comes from west to east, so if we've got all of our industry that's along the Mississippi River, which we are very beneficial to this community to be such proximity to this river, or we wouldn't even be here in the first place. That means anything that's emitted from any industry is going to move from the river towards the east. So anything that we can do to help the environment is going to help the entire community of East Baton Rouge Parish.